And again, this is what you get, right? The FORD, found on road dead, if you come in here and you get hit by this thing. Hey folks, today this is your rich uncle. Normally we talk about finances and investing, but today we're going to talk about cars a little bit. For those of you guys who don't know what this car is, it's a Ford F150, but it's the Raptor edition. 2021, it's the new third generation. You can tell by the 3 marker lights up here. If you can tell, I don't really know too much about cars. I don't take this thing to going over dunes in the middle of the desert. I live here in Hawaii. We don't have that stuff around here. I just use this to go to the gym and back home. But this is what you get to do when you have a lot of money, when you invest in real estate and the passive cash flow comes in to pay for the lease, or if you're gonna finance this. By the way, I always finance this stuff as little bit down as possible, and then always just string out the monthly payments as long as I can, because my money is better off in apartment buildings or rental properties or elsewhere making a higher yield than just sitting as dead equity in the car. But here we go. Let's talk about trucks today, because some of you guys have clicked on this link to actually learn about this truck a little bit. So the big thing about the Ford Raptors that it sets it apart from F150s is that the fenders are a little bit flared out compared to other F150s. I think there's a Lincoln there. There's always a F150 around here, but if you can tell, the flared fenders are right here. And the reason why you do that is the reason why it's a little bit larger, so therefore you have to have the side marker lights right here. And on this side right here. On the back rear, on this right side, you're also gonna have the back rear marker lights right here. So if you come along in the back side here, the Raptor is also known as, if you can have, just like in the front grille, you have the FORD and the front grille. You see some people, what they're doing is they're getting this built in after and in the front grille in before, but that's a fake Raptor. The real Raptor has this badging on the front and the rear. You got the Raptor badging right here. The big thing about Raptors is has the capability to go off-roading. You can tell by the Fox shocks. You can look up all the other videos on it. It can go over speed bumps pretty damn good. Let's just call it that. The upgraded tires are 37s. I believe these are 35s. And the other things on the exteriors that I want to point out is all these vents are actually functional. This is for the intake, and you have the Raptor badging up here on the engine hood too. Some of the cool things here that were upgraded, the rigid lights, usually doesn't come stock on the Generation 1 and Generation 2, I believe. The LED lights are new for the third generation, just like the F150, and I think the F150 Lightning that's coming out this next year is gonna have the same thing. It's kind of neat they have the Raptor decal inside the LED lights. And again, this is what you get, right? The FORD, found on road dead, if you come in here and you get hit by this thing. So original stock color on this was the orange, burnt orange color. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's the one that they have all their decals on it. However, what I do like is the lime green, because that is the logo of Simple Passive Cashflow. And that's the logo of the thing that's making you money, you might as well put it and wrap the car. So this is a wrap if you haven't seen. I think the wrap costs like $3,000 or $4,000. I could have gotten it upgraded to a higher level wrap, where they actually go through and they do like the side of the doors a little bit better. And as you here, you can kind of see where the wrap ends, and obviously underneath, they're not going to get down under here. And I think if you go kind of look on the bottom of the back rear, you can actually see the burnt orange there too. Once I got the car shipped to me, I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of orange being shown here. Maybe I should have spent the extra $1,000, but in my own opinion, the wrap doesn't last for more than 5 years. So maybe I'll just get a different color at that point or get a new truck at that point. But I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's like, it kind of looks like the old Jurassic Park. I can just throw on a Jurassic Park decal for Halloween, and it kind of has that Jurassic Park feel to the old school Jurassic Park, not the Jurassic World. But 450 horsepower. So here's the deal with the engine. It is a V6 EcoBoost. So when these things first came out, they had the V8 engine. Obviously everybody likes V8 because 8 is greater than 6, but the V6 gets better gas mileage. But they got rid of that and went to the V6 because, I don't know, when the thing came out in the early 2010s, gas prices must have been really expensive or whatnot. But the thing that they came out with, this V6 EcoBoost, the engine motor sound sucked on this thing. And we'll start up the engine here in a bit, but the newest thing on the Generation 3 is that the sound on the muffler, you guys see the dual exhaust on the back, has been upgraded. Basically what they're doing is like they basically made kind of like a trombone underneath, and there's a button there that I can click. There's kind of 3 different levels. There's silent, regular, loud, and obnoxiously loud. That is kind of coined the term Baja. It's loud that the dash tells me I'm not supposed to use it on the road. Of course, who's gonna listen to that, right? But it's pretty cool, it's pretty loud. We'll fire it up here in a bit so you guys can get a sense, but 450 horsepower. They're apparently coming out with a V8 because everybody wants it, because Dodge came out with their TRX to kill these things, and Ford really didn't have any competition before that TRX came out. So the TRX came out with about 700-800 horsepower, and Ford finally has to defend its ground with the Raptor. So they're coming out with a V8. I don't know what they're calling it, the Predator Raptor, the Indo Raptor, but supposedly it's gonna have about 800 horsepower. The same engine of that super high-end Shelby Mustang, not all those smaller crappy ones that are for 30-40 grand, but the legit Shelby Mustang with that 700-800 horsepower engine. But this thing has 450 horsepower, good enough for me. Definitely is a lot quicker than my last car. And then, you don't really have to worry about what you have to jump over, speed bumps, curves, small curbs. It just goes right over it. All right, so like I said, this car has the upgraded acoustics, the trombone-like exhaust, so that we can kind of play around with the levels, and we're gonna kind of rev it up here and start it up. Push button start. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to turn it on the regular mode, rev it up a little bit, and here we go. Here's what it sounds like. And then I'm gonna turn it up to the highest one just for kicks. So that's what I like. When I'm going like 40-50 miles an hour on the highways, not the freeway, but the highway, and then I'm slowing down where it's quiet, I hear that downshifting, that come down. And if you hear it, yeah, that is turbo in there. You're hearing that turbo engine in the intake. I'm not a huge car guy. I'm probably butchering a lot of this stuff. I'm just your rich uncle, and I know a little bit about cars and know where to put my money. I'll be honest, I don't really think that, there's nothing out there that really excites me in terms of cars. Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. I like big cars. Maybe I'll grow out of it. I used to like convertibles, but it's too hot here in Hawaii to have that type of stuff. I like this F150 because back in the day when I used to work in construction, I drove a white F150 and I lived in that thing for about 5-6 years. It became my home. It didn't have a camera. I don't know how I didn't hit things. And I put all my stuff in the back and took it from job site to job site. So we'll probably post a picture in it in the video right here, but it's only fitting that 10-12 years later, after quitting that engineering job I didn't like, that we finally got a Raptor, the upgraded F150. So here it is. We'll take you guys around and do some interior shots, show you some of the functionalities, but that was the exterior, and here we go to the interior. This is the inside of the car, and I'm gonna go over all the cool functions of this Raptor we got here. So I think one of the biggest cool things first is the big screen. The last thing is you got the sunglass holder up here.